Hey, what's happening, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of Down the Rabbit Hole. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate all you guys' support for coming out and checking me out. And what's going on right now in the universe, man? It's kind of crazy energies. So me and Maru, shout out to the Super Homie Squad, by the way. Me and Maru the other day were watching the final episode of Game of Thrones, right? And so I'm sure most of you guys haven't. If you haven't seen it, I'm sorry if you don't get the reference, but it'll all come together in the end, I promise. Just hear me out, okay? But up until the very last episode, Jon Snow was like the main character, right? And he was challenged so many times in his lifetime along the way growing up. He had a shitty life. A lot of bad stuff happened to him, right? But he persevered. He grew. He was a very honorable man. He was very true to himself, or so he thought. And as he kept going, I mean, he even came back from the dead, for Christ's sake, right? So all that being said, as it drew near and he fell in love with this woman that was, you know, a leader as well, we had these, I see that as the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies coming into play. And it can play out in either a healthy and functional manner or a dysfunctional and toxic manner. And unfortunately, in this world we live in, a lot of the energies that we're conditioned to sort of live in this bubble are to suppress us, to hold us down. So during this process, we have a choice, and every man has a choice, every woman has a choice, and whatever other gender you are, you have the same choices. It's all the same thing, in my opinion. Biologically speaking, you have to be either a man or a woman, but that's a debate for another time. So the last episode, right, we see the Dragon Queen, and she's afraid of losing her power. So she's in a state of fear. And of course, she just saw one of her best friend's heads get chopped off by this bitch that was sitting on the other side. So she's like, well, fuck you guys, and I ain't gonna listen to nobody, and I need to keep my rightful place. So I'm gonna do what I gotta do to instill control over this situation. And of course, everybody had her back, but Jon Snow's like, something ain't right. But you know what? He's not doing anything about it. And he's had people that have lost their lives come up to him and be like, hey, you need to man up. You need to take responsibility. You are the rightful person for this situation. If you don't do it, then there's going to be anarchy and chaos, and everything's going to fall apart. And when that happens, there's nothing you can do about it. Like at the end of the day, you know, like what's done is done. So when we're being called to step in right now, we're being called, like men and women are both being called to step into their power. And it's a daunting task. It's like, you know, like almost like I don't want this responsibility, but on the same token, I want this responsibility. But there's decisions that we have to make that are very, very difficult. There is directions that we have to go. There's things that we have to let go of that we may not want to let go of. There's things that we have to bring into our reality that it almost seem impossible. And if we think about it in an intellectual sense or a cerebral sense, then it is impossible. It's requiring us to have faith and to go forward in faith and to sort of expand this energy of our consciousness so that we can embody these new principles that we're living by, right? So, of course, the writers for Game of Thrones, they're probably like, okay, 10 seasons, fuck this shit, I'm done. Like, I don't want to play this game anymore, right? But in this real life, okay, I could see it going very different. And but you have to understand that you do have the choice to do that and to not take your responsibility and to, you know, not step into that power, because that power is fucking scary. But when you do man up or woman up and you do embrace those fears, those deep down fears that make you just want to fucking escape and run away, they're there and they're getting stronger because in order to be able to overcome them, we have to be able to see them. And right now, I'm sure you guys have been feeling it this last week or so. We're coming into this new energy of this eclipse cycle coming up next month. And this energy is preparing us it's opening our mind, and it's opening our eyes and our energy to all this new big world that's coming into our life, whether we like it or not. And we're gonna like it, of course, because it's raising our vibration. Anything that raises the vibration is a good thing. Okay. When we're going through it, though, we have to go through this storm of fear and of pain and of anxiety in order to get to that place. And right now, this week, with the sun opposed Jupiter, that conversation right there, that in opposition is two energies that are sort of tug of warring at each other. All right. And the tug of war is creating this tension that brings this awareness of these things that we didn't realize that we were doing. So, like, you're going to be having a lot of aha moments here in the next week, especially coming up to this full moon at 25 degrees Sagittarius, which I'll get into here in a little bit. But Jupiter is in its home sign, and the sun is in Gemini, and those are both communication energies. Like Jupiter in its home sign, especially, very powerful. We are evolving our belief systems right now, and this tension is making us look at our beliefs and being brutally honest with ourselves as this divine masculine and divine feminine energy come in, and they're sort of like power washing each other. And the more that we embrace this opposing energy, in a typical non-gender sense, the divine masculine in each person is communicating with the divine feminine right now, and they're both terrified. They're scared as fuck to look at each other, right? But when they make the choice to be vulnerable and step into that incredibly deeply vulnerable place, and they pour out their heart, the divine feminine or their divine counterpart is going to listen and reciprocate. It's just like somebody's going to make the first fucking move, right? So if you are making a move, just know that if it scares the shit out of you, it's the right direction. Okay. Now, of course, if it scares the shit out of you in a productive manner, like some things scare us because it's telling us not to do it, right? Not to go forward at it. But we are understanding that distinction right now with this energy. And we also have another big communication energy going on, which is Mercury trine Neptune. So Neptune is source. It's the oneness of everything, right? It's our connection to source. Mercury is our communication. So there's sort of like the higher and lower octave of the communication within self and between us and source, right? So when this is going on top of the sun opposed Jupiter, this is allowing for that clarity to really filter its way in and to sort of become stronger than our comfort. Change, like human nature is based on going towards things that we want and away from things that we don't want. Right? We want to, what do we want to feel? We want to feel good. We want to feel love. We want to feel happy and appreciated and all those positive vibrations. But if we're in situations where that's not possible, then we can be destructive about it to get, halfway there, or to get anything to ease, we may try to ease the pain. Okay. So we have to identify the ways that we go to find that comfort when we're super uncomfortable and bridge that gap. Find that place within us where we can, breathe through it and, find joy and peace in the neutrality of the situation, because we always have a choice, right? We have a choice of what we want to believe. Every action we take requires a decision. So sometimes, especially right now, we may feel like we have no choice, but we have no choice because we're going towards a belief. And we feel like there's just no other way but going towards that belief, right? And this is really pulling us and pushing us into that place through a lot of tension. Now, the Galactic Center, and a lot of astrologers and energy readers have been talking about this for the last week, because this is really sort of like the reset before the reset, if that makes sense. It's like the pre-detox before you go through the real detox. So it's sort of like zeroing out the energy in order to allow for this new energy to come in. The Galactic Center is a black hole, and it's basically like the epicenter of our universe. Okay, so that epicenter it's all matter. It's much deeper than any of us know or understand that exists. So with this energy, with the full moon coming up, and think back to the end of 2017, because that's when Saturn was going over the galactic center, and that was making major shifts. And the prequel to all the craziness that's going on now in the structures and systems that are going through the transformation and change in our world. Everything is changing. So this full moon is more of an emotional structure, right? And it's bringing to an end a lot of that turmoil, a lot of that confusion, a lot of the frustration. Is purging out all these inner demons that we have. And, some people may not be able to handle it. Some people are going to feel like they're going fucking crazy when that Kundalini energy comes up, because this is the galactic center activates Kundalini energy. Okay, that is the most fundamental energy, in our consciousness and that we embody. And that's really usually when you're having some type of Kundalini awakening, that is when you have an awakening. That's when you become aware to all your bullshit. And of course, it comes in phases, it comes in waves, it comes in levels. All right. So this level, this is a massive level. There was there's like a secret place where you got like 1,000 lives potentially in this level, but you have to be creative and intuitive and have faith to be able to find that little secret place. Because, you probably have to jump up behind a cloud or something like that, like in one of these fucking video games. And when you do that, all of a sudden, bam, now you're good. Now you're like infused and rejuvenated with all this higher vibration energy. And so as we step into that, man, we're going to start to really feel it. We're going to take that one step. And when that one step comes and we get that, we burst that bubble of tension and that awareness comes in and we step forward into it, it's going to be like, yeah, let's get it. Right. And then that gives us more confidence and more energy to take that next step and be like, yeah, let's get it. So as we keep stepping into those positions and as we keep bringing that awareness into alignment within ourselves, man, things are going to start falling in place. It feels like things are falling apart right now. Really, from the last eclipses in January, that was the breaking down of all this Capricorn and Cancer energy. Now that we're coming into the Cancer, the opposing side of it, and we're ending that cycle of the breaking down from more like the 10th house, the South Node area. Now we're coming into the North Node, and that's bringing in all this new love, authentic, what do I really want in my life kind of energy. And with that letting go, it's allowing and preparing for all this other energy to become infused within us. So a lot of vibration raising energies that are coming in and they're compounding on each other. In my mind, I see like these sonars, like bubbles that are just bursting all over the place, and they're all interconnected and interacting with each other in our consciousness. And the more that people wake up, the more people are going to wake up and really understand and see this stuff, right? So let's go into the charts here and take a look at the charts. Where am I? Okay. So we have, and you know what I also notice here too, is that I'm going to bring the white moon into this more, because the white moon is basically aspecting a mutable cross. It's starting here on the 10th. We see that the moon is opposed Neptune, and it's square to Jupiter, and it's also square to basically Mars and Mercury. Okay, and then they're square over to I'm sorry, they're trine over there, but it's the sun and the moon that are square. And then the sun is also square over to Neptune. Now, this mutable cross, mutable square, rather, this is a lot of that changing energy that is really unpredictable. But it's also that tension that is creating that need to bring things out into the open and to be able to purge And as we're purging all this energy, we need to be able to be in a vulnerable, comfortable space. Now, comfort and change typically don't happen in the same place. And that is the real paradox of this situation right here, because on one level, the level of vulnerability that we're experiencing is it's almost unbearable, right? And the space that we're in to change, it's like we have to be in this vulnerable place, trust ourselves enough to be able to open our heart in a very difficult situation. But then once we do allow that, it's like we let it melt and we let it open up into the next realm. And with the white moon also basically involved in this, and you'll see in the chart here in a minute, it's going through the entire week. This is all leading up to that full moon energy. And the white moon is our spiritual gift, and here, so it's being activated to become aware and have the courage and confidence to move forward with that spiritual gift, whatever it might be. And we will start to have interactions with other people in very unexpected ways that are going to teach us a lot about ourselves. This energy is really like building communities, like building social structures, and really people starting to come together to work together for similar interests in similar goals, and really creating that new type of family orientation in our hearts. Okay, and with all this energy opposing, so we have Mars and Mercury also coming up to the North Node, and that's going to be opposing Pluto, Saturn, and the South Node in Capricorn. So all those energies down there, they've been working on us hard here for very, very much so for the last 6 months. And as we're sort of in this 2-degree orb of the Saturn Pluto conjunction coming in January 2020, we're like simmering. We're like on a slow boil, right, in a pot, and it's going to start to boil over in January. But with this mutable energy, we're starting to be pulled towards the North Node, pulled towards our soul's destiny and what our soul really craves, as opposed to what our ego really craves. Those soul cravings are getting super, super strong. Okay, so as those cravings, it's a good positive craving, not like a dysfunctional one. For the most part, of course. Energy is fluid. So when all that negative stuff comes up, in your heart what you want and what you need to do. You just have to have the courage to do it. When you're having that conversation in your head, you're like, should I do? Should I not? Should I talk to this person? Should I not? Should I come clean with this? Should I not? Should I go there? Should I, like all these different experiences and things that we think about on a daily basis. What are we really bringing forth in this? So definitely need to think about that and come forward with yourself and be honest with yourself. So here on the 11th, we have the moon is sesquiquadrate to black moon. So that tells me, black moon is sort of like a manipulative energy, and the moon is, of course, our emotions. And so, maybe there's some that tells me that there's probably some past life karma stuff that is coming up for us to look at. So we're being tested. That is a test right there. And then, of course, with Uranus also sesquiquadrate to Jupiter, and that's going to be going on for a while. Uranus wants us to evolve. It wants us to raise our vibration and become the best, highest version of ourselves. It's Saturn's father. Okay, so it transcends the structures that we've already built, because a lot of the structures that we built so far are faulty. Right? We're ending a 33-year cycle here. With Saturn, especially with the Saturn Pluto conjunction. So, we've created through our conditioning these like protective barriers and these structures in our emotional body according to the socioeconomic standards of our society. And right now, we're basically being shown that, hey, the way that you were thinking is bullshit. The way that you were doing things is bullshit. There's a better way. And now we're being just like woken up to, oh shit, okay, what is this better way? We don't know, because we're overcoming years of ancestral karmic damage. And, you know, we are moving so fast through this energy that we are working through our ancestors' problems from generations, you know, back. And they say that each generation carries 7 generations from the past and 7 generations forward of energy in our DNA. And right now, I feel we're getting all those 7, maybe even more, you know, into past lives. So this energy is timeless, and it's transforming us in such a major way. This time in our life is going to be the greatest transformative experience for our life. We're going to look back at this time and be like, holy shit, I looking back now, like, I can't believe all the stuff that I went through and I did, and I wouldn't be the person I am today without going through it. Like, you know, I think everybody at some point in time in their life goes through some kind of struggle. And of course, with this awakening and raising the vibration, it can feel like a struggle a lot, right? Because we don't know where we're going, and that not knowing that is uncomfortable, you know. And we are sort of programmed to fear the unknown. We are programmed to fear death. We are programmed to fear failure and even success. So when we start going towards what we want, all these different and new types of fears that we didn't even know we had probably are coming up, and we can't look at the long term really too much and like, all right, I'm just going to get there. I'm going to manifest. We have to manifest that next step. And that's it. Of course, you want to have, like, don't keep yourself stuck in the 3D reality here by any means. Okay. We have to have the vision in our mind of where we want to go. But this information here is telling you, okay, if you really want to get there, you have to be really in tune with your belief systems so you can call your own bullshit out. Right. And with Neptune going retrograde here, it's not till next week, but Neptune is slowing down. So that energy is really, really powerful right now. And, you know, Neptune can go one of 2 ways. It can be escapism and delusions. We could just, like, super easy run from what we really want, or it's able to give us super clarity. And when it goes retrograde, that's the rose tinted glasses are coming off. Okay. And so when those rose tinted glasses come off, we're gonna be able to see things more honestly with ourselves. Like, sometimes when we dream, if we dream too much, it can be a little like, okay, well, that's a little unrealistic. You know, we have to have realistic goals and approaches. And, you know, people right now, especially with this whole, like, entrepreneurial, like, you know, change in our economy, a lot of people are stepping out on their own and, you know, being entrepreneurs and finding their true passion of what they love to do. And, you know, that is not easy. You have to face yourself in a very deep way to be able to move through that. So if you are one of those that are doing that, I applaud you, because, you know, I'm doing it too, and it ain't easy. But it's amazing how much strength you can muster when you allow yourself to receive love and support from the people that really care and support you, and B, learn to trust yourself. So many of us this day and age do not trust ourselves at all. And I've worked through my own stuff too. I'm definitely no exception. That's how I understand this shit, because we all learn through failures, through fuck ups. So I'm a major fuck up, but because I'm a major fuck up, I'm majorly successful too. And I'm proud of myself for that shit. You know, we just have to be respectful with ourselves and you know, our surroundings and people that are dear to us, to be able to, you know, move through that in a higher vibrational way. Like, holding on to shame and guilt does not get us anywhere, and that is the kind of energy that is really coming up right now. So with Mars moving through Cancer too, it's a little debilitated, right? But Mercury is right there, giving it clarity, almost like, okay, like, cheering on a little bit, you know. And it's coming up. It's going to be exact. It's going to be exact here. Let's see. On June 12th, Mars will be exactly conjunct the North Node, and then exactly opposed the South Node. So that's going to start a process. Okay, in this process, as Mars moves through the higher degrees of Cancer, it's going to come across the opposition to Saturn and then the opposition to Pluto. So that is going to be teaching us the other side of these lessons that we have been learning since January of this year. And also with the what was it, on the 21st, the equinox is coming up. That's also another portal that we're going through. to further open up this energy and change this vibration. So as this energy comes through, you may have this like out of nowhere, some kind of unexpected, encounter with someone that you thought you'd never see again. And all of a sudden, bam, you guys have this connection. And it's like it completely changes everything. Like, oh, I thought this is what I wanted, but wow, I really don't want that. I really want this. And now that we have this knowing, once we get that knowing, once we know exactly what we want, it's easy, right? It's when we don't know what we want that we drive ourselves fucking crazy, and we keep searching in all these places because we don't have a reference point. But once we get that reference point, then we know, okay, this is it. I got to hold on to this, and everything else is bull. I need to do it the opposite. I need to bring my energy inwards as opposed to bring it outwards. And of course, like, however it's going to manifest. We can't control that shit. We just have to let it be what it is and keep going. All right. So if you see here, okay, now we have Neptune opposed the white moon. This and also too, this Chiron energy is semi-sextile to Uranus, both at 5 degrees, and 5 degrees is change. So that's with our identity, with our self-worth, with our purpose in life. It's getting a major overhaul, and it's calling us out on our shit with our ego. Like, our soul right now is basically calling our ego out and be like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? What are you doing, and how are you going to go get through it and get past it or become a part of it? It's these shadow sides of ourselves that we don't fully want to look at or don't fully understand, that we really need to look at and understand right now. And the more that we fight it, the more that it's gonna destroy us. Okay, so if you're watching this, though, there's a pretty good chance that you're facing it, you're feeling it, you're looking at it, and you're working through it. So kudos to you for doing the work. I'm really proud of you, because this work is not easy. So here on June 14th, we have the moon trine Neptune. All right. And then we have also the Neptune trine, basically Mercury, the North Node, and Mars. And man, so, and Neptune being in Pisces in its home sign, going really slow right now, powerful. That's an overpowering energy. And so with that grand trine right there, the moon is also trying to the North Node, Mercury, and Mars. This is like emotional awareness and getting that clear information from source. Like, hey, this is what's going on. Yeah, they're all water signs too. So this is a grand water trine. And so emotions is super emotional. So, and this is crazy enough. This is all coming into the full moon in Sag, which so it's going to bring up this grand trine is going to bring up all these emotions about where we want to go and what we want to do and how we want to make change and how we want to make it happen. And man, as that stuff comes up, we're going to cry. We're going to feel vulnerable. We're going to feel probably weak. But then, we go through that, and then we're going to feel safe. We're going to feel trustworthy. We're going to feel good. This is going to be a very purgative week, people. Very, very purgative. But a lot of really good things happening here. All right, on the 15th, pretty much most of the same stuff going on. We have the moon that's trying to Chiron. So that's going to bring up some more of that, deep ego wounding that we have, and bring it to the light again to be processed and purged through this lunar activity that we're having, and get more insight to, where are we holding ourselves back? What are we doing to keep ourselves from being our greatest version of ourselves? Okay, and then we come up to the 16th, and now if you see, we have this huge grand cross here. So I'm sorry, yeah. Well, you guys can see it. It's right there. White moon is square to Mars. The moon and Jupiter. And the moon and Jupiter are pretty, they're going to be conjunct at some point in that day. Okay, and then they are square over to Black Moon Lilith and Neptune. So Black Moon Lilith is also conjunct Neptune, and so that may blur, especially with how strong Neptune is right now. The Black Moon probably won't have such a strong power over it, but still be wary of that. That's a very manipulative, sort of jaded kind of energy. And being in Pisces and running the 12th house, that's all subconscious shit. So all this subconscious stuff is really going to be floating around there to be purged out. Then we have Neptune and Black Moon square Venus, and of course Venus is our love for self, our love for others, our wealth, our money, how we feel. And that's in Gemini now. So this is like communicating with ourselves about wealth and about money, and what are we doing like that's maybe not ethical or not moral? Are we doing anything like that? And how do we transmute that and fix that? And we have Venus that's also square to the white moon. To me, that any aspect that is to the white moon is not really bad, because it's bringing out all these beautiful things within us in order to become the best version of ourselves and apply it into the world. But in order to apply it, we always have to face that resistance, because that resistance is what keeps us there. So sometimes we need these difficult aspects to sort of rip through all those energies and bring out all these beautiful things within us as we grow and learn. Okay. So now the big day that everybody's waiting for. We have the full moon at 25 degrees of Sagittarius, and we still have this mutable square, grand cross, whatever you want to call it. And then we also here have Neptune and Lilith trine the North Node, Mercury, and Mars. So, and now Mercury is at 19 and Mars is at 20 degrees. We have Saturn at 18 and Pluto at 22. So they're literally all right on top of each other. So while the moon is at the galactic center, we literally have this North Node and the South Node sort of battling it out right now in our energy, in our minds, about letting go of the past and letting go of our ego's desires and moving towards our soul's desires and moving into what we really truly love. And with that energy of the galactic center, permeating through all this other stuff that we have going on, that's our emotional body. That is really infusing us with the belief in the self-trust and self-worth and the ability to stand in our power going towards this North Node. Such a powerful, powerful energy this is going to be. And it's not too far off from Jupiter either. So with the Jupiterian energy being right in the mix with the moon, and Jupiter is in its home sign. So that's creating even more of an opening. Just so powerful. And so on that layer, it may be almost overwhelming, and your body may respond like you may be laid out. You may need to sleep for a day or two. Like usually when this energy hits me, especially if it has something to do with the galactic center, the energy is just so incredibly powerful. Like I need to sleep, or I feel like heavy, because when our energy is raising so quickly, it's like a detox, right? When you go to, say you have like a bacterial imbalance in your gut, and you're detoxing from it, and you have pathogenic bacteria that's dying, you get the die off, right? Or if you have candida or something, you have that die off, and it has to go through your body and circulate out in order to get out, right? So this is like die off from like energetic candida in this full moon. So we have to let that process take its course. We can't rush it. All right. So that's the process of purging, and it has to come through our five senses. So if our body feels it, if our mind feels it, if we just feel, we're probably going to feel like exhausted, because this energy, it takes over. So it doesn't matter. Like you might be completely exhausted, and you're going to have to be okay with that. And a lot of people are seeing this right now, but we always seem to find a way through it. We always seem to find a way past it, and we come out of it. And more and swifter and swifter, we're feeling this like density, or we're purging or working through this difficult energy. And then we come out of it, and it's like, holy shit, it's gone. Where the hell did it go? Who gives a fuck where it went? It's gone. I don't want to deal with it anymore, right? So it's dissolving quicker and quicker. And the more that we trust that that process is happening, the faster it's going to go, right? But we really, truly have to trust in it. Yeah. So Neptune is also, of course, sextile the south node right now. That's going to be going on, for a while, but we have this square that's going to be exact. Oh shit! So the Jupiter Neptune square will be exact on this full moon too, and that's the second of 3 squares that's going to be exact throughout the year. And so this conversation is playing out all year, but um, this right here is like, okay, what are our belief systems, and are they realistic or not? Are they escapist? Are we just going deeper into a dysfunctional place, or are we really going after what we want? This is a really, like, combining the belief systems with our life purpose and our spiritual awareness, all jumbled up into one. So understanding the interconnectivity of, do we believe that we can do this? Do we believe that we're worthy of this? Yes, no, why, or why not? Right? And what are we driven towards, and why? So are we driven towards things, to get some kind of instant gratification? Or are we driven towards things because we want some kind of validation? Or are we driven towards things because we love it and we don't really care what's going on? And they're both in their home signs, guys. So 18 degrees is a power, and numerologically speaking, 1 and 8 is 9, which is endings. So this is ending, massive karmic cycles that are no longer serving us and really bring us into a beautiful place. So I want to take a look at the degree of the full moon. What's up, guys? Okay. Oh, technical difficulty here for a second. What the fuck? Okay. All right. So that this I don't know what the hell YouTube's doing to me right now, but can you guys still hear me? All right. Screen sharing. All right, there we go. Beautiful. You guys see me now? Okay, so hopefully you guys can still hear me. I'm going to go ahead into this degree. It says a small boat with no one in it. It is gradually drifting out to sea. When life is a dream, not too much of selfhood is asked for or welcome. Ancestors, previous lifetimes, collective current feeds the dream, keeps it alive. The self hugs a secretive outpost of neither being with nor being against. One of the remarkable things that happens is that spirit can speak and reveal much. One of the habits which easily proliferates here is to take no responsibility for anything. And one of the primal paths through is to drift deeper down and let all ego go, yet move with the soul as it is guided to each and every place it is meant to travel. So really, guys, energetically speaking, I feel like we're traveling into these new waters that we've never been before, and our soul has never been before. We're evolving past what our ancestors have gone through, and we're destroying these destructive karmic cycles. And the self hugs a secretive outpost of neither being with nor being against. So we're embracing this sort of 0 point, this neutrality of energy. And as we embrace that, it brings us into this alignment of our new self that we're creating. And we really don't know what that is yet, because we have to let all the ego go. So we're dissolving this played out ego way of living, and we're embracing this new spirit-led and really deeper higher self calling. And many of us have no idea what that's going to look like. So as we create it, we're creating and generating all these new energies. And I have a feeling that maybe every couple hundred years, like back in the Renaissance era, like things changed because people started speaking out and transforming and coming into their greatness and power. And the old systems didn't like it. It didn't let it go. And that's what's going on right now. We have more and more people stepping up and just saying, fuck this old shit. We have way showers. So this is the season of way showers. And this full moon is bringing up all these things that are holding us back from being a way shower in this world. All right. So what's up, DeWoe? Thank you very much for subscribing to my channel. I definitely appreciate it. Hey, what's up, Rachel? How you doing? Thank you for tuning in. I so appreciate you guys very much. You guys are awesome. Yeah, so I'm definitely feeling this like major solar flare activity, these huge waves of energy coming in that are throwing us from left to right and up and down and all over the place. This empowerment and vulnerability is just massive. So embrace it and listen to your body and be true to yourself and who you are and feel it and take one step forward at a time. There's no need to rush anything. We're starting to realize that actually when we keep trying to push and force, that it's not accomplishing anything. So just let it go and be okay with what is. And just, that's that. That's it. That's the way to do it. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. I think that's all I got for you here. I'm going to make another video specifically for the full moon Sagittarius, and I'll be keeping all you in my prayers. I appreciate you guys very much. Thank you for tuning in. And if you'd like a reading from me, please go to trinityfitnessastrology.com, and I'll be happy to work with you. Have a blessed day. Peace, everybody.